Going to be continuing the Swift tutorial series, and we're going to learn about data types. So I remember, and you might too, that last video I said I was going to teach you about static, but I think, and I did some thinking on this, that learning about data types should come before you learn about static, because data types are very important in Swift and in tons of other programming languages, mostly all of them actually. So I'm going to teach you about those in this video. So let's start. So I've laid some things out here. I have this variable of a man. Then I've got some data types here. I have an integer, a float, a double, and a boolean. So I'm going to explain these. And actually, a man is a data type. So when you get a bit more advanced, you'll be able to actually make your own data types. And if I come down here and say var woman, we'll just call her Jen, and we'll call him Jake. So that's making my own variable. My own data type, sorry. So this data type is called, let me put it here. This data type is called a string. Now a string is a piece of text. Strings are a piece of text that you can make pretty much whatever you want with them. So I could say this string is called Harold. Or I could say, I could put a sentence in here. It's just text. Now, an integer is a number. It's just positive or negative, it's a number. I could say -10. No matter what, it's a number. A float is usually, so floats and doubles are very similar, but doubles are the default decimal data type in Swift. They both use decimals. So a float is usually a smaller decimal, while a double is usually larger. So a double would usually be something like this, while a float would usually be something maybe like I have here. A double could just be that. You don't really need the 0. But a double could just be this. Either way, doubles are the default decimal data type. Floats are still used. Doubles are just default. Now, if you don't completely understand that, that's alright. Throughout this course, eventually you will get it because we'll be using them. So don't worry about that. Now, a boolean is either true or false. So it's kind of like a true or false game. It's either true or it's a false. And right here you can see that this is called a note. So you make those by just doing 2 slashes this way, and then you can type like a note here. That's what a note is. You can use them in programming. Anyway, so a boolean is either true or false. If I change this to false, that's what it is. So it can't be 10. It's got to be false. In this case, it can be 10 because I have it declared as a variable and it has no idea that I'm actually calling it a boolean. So in this case, it could be, but in general, they're only true and false. So now that we've gone through those, I want to show you something that will be pretty helpful throughout programming. So if you want to, you can look this up. I'm just going to present it here. So this is called Camel Case. Now, Camel Case is the practice of writing phrases without spaces or punctuation, indicating the separation of words with a single capitalized letter, and the first word starting with either case. Common examples include iPhone, JavaScript, and eBay. Those are all Camel Case. Now, in programming, you might do something like this. let me just do like Wayne, or not Wayne, sorry. Let me just do something like Bruce. So this is a string. It's giving some text, and this is camel casing. I have this first name as a lowercase f, and the name part of it as uppercase. So first is lowercase, name is uppercase. That's camel casing. You can kind of figure out why it's called that, and if you look at some images of it, it'll explain. It's lowercase and then uppercase. It might show you a programming example. Yeah, user, and then ID is capitalized. Or that was actually incorrect, but that's the basic idea of camel casing. Anyway, so let's say first name is Bruce. Now let's print. So if you don't know what the print command is, the print command is when you're printing out something. So if I say first name is Bruce, I can come in here and say print is pretty much like show me first name. So I can say print first name. I should not have these quotations, and then it'll do it. Now if I click this run button and we look over here, we can see it says Bruce. It showed us first name. Now what happens if I put these quotations? You'll see in a second when this shows us, it literally prints first name. So you don't want it to print first name, but you want it to print first name, meaning you want it to print the variable or the instance first name, or it's not an instance, but you want to print first name, but not the literal word, if that makes sense. So you would not put these quotations here. Otherwise, you'd be printing the actual word. If you wanted to print an actual word of hi, I am Max, that's gonna show us hi, I am Max right here. But if we change this first name to Max, we can do this. Print, come down here and find first name, print first name, and run it. What's going to give us here is Max, because that is what we are calling the first name. The first name is Max. Now we could change that. We can just come down here and say, first name is Izzy. Print, oops, not that. Print first name. So run it. Oh, so this is a really good example of why this is wrong. Now this is wrong because I need quotations here, not here. I need them here. So it knows that that first name is Izzy. And I'm saying first name is no longer Max. First name is Izzy. So that is an introduction to data types. You could practice around by just using some of those. Just the key concept here is a string is text. So like so that is a string. It's just some text. It can be any text you want. An integer is a positive or negative number. It just has to be a whole number. A float is a small decimal number. A double is usually a larger decimal number, and it is the default decimal data type in Swift. A Boolean is either true or false. And then the print command prints whatever you called. And that is changeable because we're using var. And I have to look it back up. Camel case. Camel case is the practice of writing phrases without spaces or punctuation, indicating the separation of words with a single capitalized letter. So, for instance, first name is a camel case. I hope this was helpful to you, and in the next video we're going to be learning about if statements. So get excited about that. Thank you for watching. Bye.